A quiet night covered the small human colony on Arden 3. Soft lights glowed from the windows of the tiny hospital, where only a few workers stayed awake. Inside one of the rooms, a baby boy had just been born. The doctor held him gently, waiting for the child to open his eyes. The baby was calm, quiet, almost too still for a newborn. Then his eyelids slowly lifted. The doctor froze. The nurse beside him gasped. The baby's eyes were not normal. They were bright, glowing softly like embers under ash. The pupils were thin and long, like the eyes of a dragon from old human stories. The doctor had delivered many children on Arden 3, but he had never seen eyes like this. For a moment the room felt colder. The doctor tried to hide his fear, but his hands trembled. The father stood nearby, exhausted but excited. He did not understand why the doctor suddenly became so quiet. He stepped closer, hoping to hold his son, but the doctor asked him to wait just a moment. The doctor needed time to think. He knew what he must do and he did not like it. Every human colony followed the same rule. Any strange birth, any unknown sign, must be reported to the Galactic Council. The doctor wished this moment had never come, yet he could not ignore the laws. The baby boy blinked slowly. When he looked around the room, the glowing colors in his eyes shifted like living fire. The doctor realized the boy was observing everything in the room, not in the confused way newborns usually did, but with an awareness that felt older. The doctor did not say this out loud. No one would believe him anyway. After a moment, he handed the boy to his father. The father smiled with joy, not noticing the strangeness of the eyes. He saw only his son. He wrapped the baby in a warm blanket and whispered the name he had chosen, Kale. The baby's bright eyes softened, and he rested quietly in his father's arms. While the father admired his newborn son, the doctor stepped out of the room. He walked to his small office and closed the door behind him. His hand still shook as he opened his report tablet. He typed a short message, keeping it simple and careful. He described the unusual eyes, the glowing color, the shape that should not be possible. He avoided writing anything emotional. The report had to go straight to the Galactic Council's Genetic Review Division. Once he pressed send, there was no way back. He hesitated for a long time. Finally, he pressed the button. The message traveled through the colony network, then into deep space toward Citadel Station. The doctor sat back in his chair and closed his eyes. He hoped the council would ignore the report, but he knew they would not. Far away on the Great Citadel, council officials received the message. A silent alarm appeared on their screens. Strange human birth. Possible forbidden traits. Request for immediate review. The officials opened the attached image and saw the baby's dragon-like eyes. The room grew quiet. One official remembered old stories about a lost species called the DracoWar. Another whispered that this might be a sign. A third said they must keep this secret. The entire group agreed that no one outside the council should learn about the child. They sent a single, cold message back to the hospital on Arden 3. Keep silent. Do not speak of the child. Further instructions will follow. The doctor read the reply with a heavy heart. He understood what it meant. The council wanted the birth hidden. They wanted no questions, no rumors, no explanations. The doctor wondered what Kale's strange eyes truly meant. He wondered if the child was dangerous or special. He wondered if the galaxy would change because of him. But he could not speak of it to anyone. Back in the room, Kale's father held him close and watched him sleep. The father did not know the doctor had sent a message. He did not know the council was already involved. He did not know that his son's glowing eyes would one day draw attention from far beyond their small moon. Outside, the night wind moved softly across the colony, carrying a quiet promise. Kale was only minutes old, yet his existence had already reached into the highest levels of the galaxy. The baby did not know who watched him or why. He did not know how many secrets surrounded his birth. He only felt the warmth of the blanket, the steady heartbeat of his father, and the soft glow inside his strange dragon eyes. Kale grew quickly, though not like other children. Even as a toddler, he noticed things no one else could see. He could sense the warmth of the sun on hidden surfaces, the flow of water beneath the ground, and the faint hum of machines in the walls. His glowing dragon eyes seemed to see through more than light. They saw patterns, energy, and movement. His father often watched him quietly, unsure how to explain what he saw. By the time Kale was 6, he could follow tiny insects in the dark without a lantern. He knew when the wind would change or when a storm was coming, long before weather sensors could detect it. Teachers at the colony school noticed his unusual awareness. When other children struggled to solve simple puzzles, Kale often solved them almost without thinking. He could trace the hidden paths of water in the colony's pipes or guess the structure of machinery just by looking at it once. Despite these talents, Kale remained quiet and polite. He did not boast, did not make trouble, and rarely spoke unless asked. Children whispered about the boy with the glowing eyes. Some were curious, some were scared. Adults watched him with polite caution. They could not explain him, and they felt a strange mix of fear and admiration. Unknown to Kale, the Galactic Council had sent observers to watch him. The observers were quiet men in dark uniforms, appearing occasionally in the colony without any explanation. They took notes, recorded videos, and sometimes asked questions about Kale's daily life. No one knew why they were there except the doctor who had delivered him. He sometimes warned Kale's father to be careful, though he did not fully understand why either. Kale sometimes noticed the observers. He could feel their presence like a vibration in the air. Their movements, their breathing, the energy they gave off, he sensed it all. But he never confronted them. Instead, he simply watched them back, curious and unafraid. His glowing eyes seemed to understand more than words could explain. One afternoon, Kale wandered to the edge of the colony, where the cliffs met the barren plains. The wind was strong and the dust swirled around him. He focused his eyes and saw patterns in the heat of the ground, tiny trails of warmth where animals had walked hours ago. He traced the patterns with his fingers, smiling quietly. A small creature scuttled past him, leaving a faint energy trail in the dirt. Kale could follow it like a path on a map. His father watched from a distance, amazed. "How do you see that?" he asked. Kale only shrugged. "I just see," he said. It was true. Kale did not need tools or instruments. His dragon eyes revealed what others could not perceive. At school, Kale's abilities sometimes caused confusion. During a science experiment, he predicted the exact moment a chemical reaction would begin. Teachers were astonished, but he only smiled and said it was simple. In games, he could dodge faster than any other child, sensing movement in the air. Children began to rely on him, though none fully understood why. Kale was careful, however. He did not use his talents to show off. He wanted only to understand, to learn, and to help. Yet the observers noted everything. On Citadel Station, council officials watched his growth charts, brain scans, and movement patterns. They whispered among themselves, sometimes arguing quietly. Some believed Kale's abilities could be a gift for the galaxy. Others worried that he was becoming too powerful, too aware. Despite the attention, Kale remained innocent. He asked questions about the stars, about machines, and about the history of the galaxy. His father answered as best he could. One night, as they sat on the roof of their home, Kale pointed at the sky. "I can see something," he said. "A path, like lines connecting stars." His father looked up, puzzled. "That's just the stars, Kale," he said softly. "I see patterns," Kale insisted. His dragon eyes shimmered as he traced invisible lines with his finger. "They're trying to tell me something." In that moment, his father realized that Kale was not an ordinary boy. He was seeing things others could not. He was learning secrets the galaxy had hidden for centuries. And the observers, silent as ever, noted it all. Kale did not yet understand the full importance of his abilities. He only knew that he could see more than others, and that the world held hidden truths. He was calm, patient, and curious. One day he thought he would understand everything. Until then, he continued to watch, to learn, and to see patterns in the air, on the ground, and in the hearts of those around him. The boy with dragon eyes was growing, and the galaxy quietly held its breath. Kale was now 16. He had grown taller and stronger, but it was his eyes that still set him apart. They glowed softly in the dark, slitted like dragons, shifting in color with his mood and attention. The colony had learned to live with him, though whispers of the boy with dragon eyes never fully disappeared. People admired him quietly, yet some still felt uneasy. One day the school organized a field trip to the old Arden mines. The tunnels had been abandoned for decades, but they were still used occasionally for research. Kale walked carefully, his glowing eyes lighting the way in places where lamps barely reached. As the group moved deeper, he felt a strange vibration in the ground. It was faint at first, almost like a heartbeat from the planet itself. He stopped. "Stay close," he told the teachers. They looked at him strangely but nodded. The vibration grew stronger, almost urgent. Kale turned to warn them just in time. A small section of the tunnel shifted, sending dust and rocks into the air. The children were startled, but Kale's warning had saved them from danger. The teachers looked at him with wide eyes. "How did you know?" one of them asked. Kale only shrugged. "I just felt it," he said quietly. Far away on Citadel Station, alarms blinked in the council chambers. The observers watching Kale immediately reported the event. Kale had done nothing wrong, yet the reaction in the council was one of alarm. Officials gathered quickly. Some paced the room, whispering in hurried tones. Others stared at the screens showing Kale's glowing eyes in the mines. The council's fear was not simple. They were not afraid that Kale could harm anyone, nor that he would attack. Their fear was older, deeper, tied to legends and long-forgotten history. The DracoWar, a species thought to have vanished millennia ago, had once been guardians of the galaxy. They were known for their wisdom, their power, and their ability to see truth in ways no other beings could. Some legends claimed they could sense lies, detect hidden energy, and perceive the future in faint patterns of light. The council had always believed the DracoWar were extinct. Yet here was a human boy whose eyes glowed with the same strange qualities described in ancient texts. Could he be connected to the DracoWar? Could the ancient guardian's legacy still live in humans? The thought made some council members tremble. One official, older and quieter than the others, spoke. "He might be one of them, one of their heirs," he said softly. The others shook their heads. "Impossible," another replied. "The DracoWar have been gone for thousands of years." Yet even as he spoke, he could not ignore the patterns in Kale's abilities, the way he could sense energy, predict movements, and react to danger before it appeared. The council argued for hours. Some wanted to study Kale, to understand his potential and control it. Others warned that awakening him could be dangerous. If he inherited the DracoWar's perception fully, he might see secrets the council had hidden for centuries, secrets about wars, betrayals, and decisions that had shaped the galaxy. The possibility terrified them. Finally, a decision was made. They would continue to monitor Kale closely, but they would not interfere openly. The boy must remain hidden. The colony could know nothing beyond what was normal. They would not invite him to Citadel Station yet. They would wait and watch, hoping to understand the limits of his abilities before they revealed themselves. Meanwhile, Kale returned home from the mines, unaware of the storm he had caused in the council chambers. He played with his friends, laughed at small jokes, and helped a younger child find a lost tool. To everyone in the colony he was simply a clever boy with unusual eyes. He did not boast and he did not seek attention. Yet the eyes that glowed softly under the moonlight were quietly growing more perceptive each day. In his room that night, Kale stared at the ceiling. He thought about the vibration in the mines, the way the ground had almost shifted beneath his feet. He felt a connection to something larger, something he could not name. It was as if the planet itself had tried to speak to him, and he had listened. He did not understand why, but he knew that one day he would. On Citadel Station, council members continued their quiet watch. Kale was still just a boy, but they all knew he was not ordinary. Some feared him. Some wondered if he could be a savior or a threat. And all of them understood one truth: the galaxy had never seen eyes like Kale's, and it might never see them again. The council could hide their fear for now, but deep down they knew it would not last. The boy with dragon eyes was awakening, and with each day the hidden fear in the council grew stronger. They were beginning to realize that the child could see far more than they ever wanted anyone to see. Kale, meanwhile, slept peacefully, unaware of the long shadows watching him from across the stars. He dreamed of light, patterns, and the faint rhythm of energy flowing beneath the planet, a rhythm that seemed to call him toward a destiny even he could not yet understand. Kale had always been curious about the stars. Every night he would climb to the roof of his home and stare at the sky. The glow of distant suns and planets fascinated him, but tonight something felt different. The stars seemed sharper, brighter, and somehow connected. Lines of faint light shimmered between them, forming patterns that no telescope or star map could show. He blinked, and the glow in his dragon eyes brightened. Colors danced across his pupils, shifting from green to gold, then to a soft violet. For the first time, Kale understood that his eyes were more than unusual. They were a tool, a key to seeing the universe in a way others could not. He traced the glowing lines with his finger, as if touching a hidden map in the sky. The patterns moved under his gaze, almost like they were alive. Kale felt a strange vibration in his chest. It was not fear or excitement, only a quiet call, pulling him closer to the stars. Suddenly, a message formed in his mind, clear and gentle, though he did not hear it with his ears. The one who sees truth must guide the ones who have forgotten it. He gasped softly, realizing the words were meant for him. He did not understand fully, but he felt their weight, like a responsibility resting on his young shoulders. The next day he went to the colony observatory, a small building filled with old star charts, telescopes, and computers. Kale approached a holographic star map that displayed the positions of nearby systems. He had studied these maps many times, but now his eyes reacted differently. When he looked at the stars, faint lines and symbols appeared only to him. The holograms seemed to shift, revealing hidden codes and forgotten pathways between the stars. The astronomers around him noticed his unusual gaze. "Kale, are you seeing something?" one asked. Kale nodded slowly. "Yes. The stars, they are showing me something. I don't know what yet." The adults exchanged worried glances. They had always admired Kale's intelligence, but this was something beyond comprehension. They were not sure if he was imagining it or truly seeing a hidden truth. As the day went on, Kale's abilities continued to grow. He looked at energy flows in the colony's systems, noticing patterns in the way power moved through the generators and conduits. He could see small leaks, inefficiencies, and hidden signals that no sensor detected. Engineers came to him in surprise. "How did you find this?" they asked. Kale only shrugged. "I just see it," he said quietly. Meanwhile, the silent observers sent by the Galactic Council became tense. Reports from the observatory came in, showing Kale tracing paths in the star maps and energy flows. The council held an emergency session. "He is awakening faster than we predicted," one member said. "If he continues, he will see through all our lies, all our secrets," another whispered. Fear ran through the chamber. They realized that Kale's dragon eyes were more than physical traits. They were a window into truths the galaxy had tried to hide. Kale, however, did not notice the council's worry. He only felt the call of the stars, the rhythm of energy around him, and the silent lines that connected everything. He realized that he could sense intentions in people, faint vibrations of honesty and deceit. It was subtle but powerful. He understood that some things in the galaxy were not as they appeared. That evening he returned home and sat quietly in his room watching the night sky. His father entered, carrying a warm drink. "You've been quiet today," he said gently. Kale looked up, eyes shimmering with the colors of the stars. "I'm starting to understand," he said softly. "The universe, it's not just planets and stars. It's a pattern. A message. I think I'm meant to see it." His father nodded, unsure how to respond. He did not fully understand, but he trusted his son. "Whatever it is, we will face it together," he said. Kale smiled faintly. "I think I can help people. If I understand the patterns, maybe I can guide them. But I have to learn first." As Kale slept that night, his dragon eyes glowed brighter than ever before. In dreams he saw flowing lines of light, symbols of old and echoes of the DracoWar, a race long vanished but never forgotten. The stars whispered secrets, the energy of the universe pulsed like a heartbeat, and Kale felt connected to it all. Somewhere far away, the observers recorded his glowing eyes, noting the patterns and the awakening. The council could feel the tension growing. They realized that their silence could not last forever. Kale's abilities were beyond control, and the moment of truth was approaching. And on Arden 3, under the quiet stars, a boy with dragon eyes opened his mind to the universe. He did not yet know his full purpose, but he understood one thing clearly: he could see more than anyone else. And the galaxy would never be the same. Kale was now 17. His dragon eyes glowed softly, revealing patterns and energy that no one else could see. He had learned to control them, to focus on details that most people ignored. His abilities had grown beyond the colony. He could sense changes in the weather, detect hidden structures in the planet, and even feel the emotions of those around him. Yet he remained humble, quiet, and kind. One day Kale received an official summons. The message came from the Galactic Council, delivered in a neutral tone. An academic evaluation, they said. But Kale's father knew it was more than that. The council had been watching him for years, noting his growth, his talents, his understanding of patterns and truths hidden from ordinary humans. Now they wanted him directly. Kale traveled alone to Citadel Station. The massive structure floated silently in space, lights glimmering across its curved surface. Inside, the council awaited him. They were seated in a large chamber, faces serious, voices controlled. Every official stared at him, some with curiosity, some with fear. They had sent observers for years, but now the boy with dragon eyes stood before them, alive, aware, and more perceptive than they had imagined. "Welcome, Kale," said one member. "We have observed your growth. Your abilities are remarkable." Kale nodded politely. He did not feel fear. His eyes glimmered softly as he scanned the room. He could see the tension behind their words, the uncertainty hidden in their carefully measured expressions. He could feel their fear not of him but of what he might uncover. The council asked him questions, carefully phrased. "Do you understand your abilities?" one asked. Do you know the meaning of the patterns you see? Kale answered honestly. I do not fully understand yet, he said. But I know that these patterns are real. They are not lies or tricks. They are truth. Another member leaned forward. And if you learn all the truths we have hidden, what will you do? Kale looked at them calmly. His dragon eyes shimmered, reflecting the lights of the chamber. I do not want power. I do not want control. I only want to help. If I can guide people to avoid mistakes, to see what is hidden, I will. Nothing more. The room fell silent. The council realized that his honesty was more unsettling than any threat. For centuries they had ruled with secrecy, keeping knowledge away from the galaxy. Yet this boy, with his dragon eyes and quiet courage, could see through all of it. Their plans, their lies, their fears, he perceived them without judgment. One older member finally spoke. Perhaps we have hidden too much for too long, he said. Another nodded. The galaxy may need someone like him. Someone who sees the truth and does not use it for power. The tension eased slightly, replaced by a mix of awe and cautious hope. Kale understood the change. The council had tried to silence him for years, to watch him from afar, to control what he could learn. But they had failed. His abilities were not something they could suppress. He was awake, aware, and growing stronger each day. The truth could not be hidden from him, and it could not be hidden from the galaxy forever. When the meeting ended, Kale returned to Arden 3. He felt lighter, freer, yet thoughtful. The council had recognized him, but they had also seen that he would not use his power recklessly. He walked among the familiar buildings of his colony, watching children play, workers tend to machines, and the quiet rhythm of life unfolding. He realized that helping others did not mean changing them against their will. It meant guiding, teaching, and showing what they could not see for themselves. At home, his father greeted him warmly. How was it? He asked. Kale smiled softly. They understand now, he said. But it does not matter if they understand. I have to learn, I have to grow, and I have to help where I can. That is my choice, not theirs. That night, Kale sat on the roof again, staring at the stars. The faint patterns in the sky shimmered, responding to his gaze. He traced lines, followed glowing trails, and felt the pulse of energy flowing across planets and systems. Somewhere far away, the council watched silently, still uneasy but unable to stop what had already begun. For the first time, Kale realized the true meaning of his eyes. They were not a gift to see power, nor a tool to judge others. They were a key, a guide, a connection to the universe itself. He could sense truth, recognize lies, and reveal hidden paths. And he could choose how to use this knowledge, with wisdom, patience, and care. The galaxy had changed quietly, almost imperceptibly, because a boy with dragon eyes had awakened. The council could not silence him, and they could not control him. Kale's journey was only beginning, but already he had touched something greater than himself, the hope that knowledge, honesty, and courage could guide the future. As he closed his eyes that night, his dragon eyes dimmed to a soft glow. He did not yet know all the secrets of the universe, but he knew that one day he would. And when that day came, the galaxy would never look at the stars the same way again.